A lot of people think that Christmas is the big celebration for Christians, and it's true, it is a huge party celebrating the birth of Jesus when God came down to earth. I suppose the question is, why did God come down? Not just to give us an excuse to have a huge party, give presents, and go to nativities, as good as those things all are. No, the reason why he came down is because of what happened on that first Easter weekend. And there are 2 days that are particularly important for Christians in the Easter celebrations: Good Friday and Easter Sunday. And in this post, I'm just going to look at Good Friday. What is exactly that happened on Good Friday? And in the next post, we'll look at Easter Sunday. So on Good Friday, Christians remember and actually celebrate Jesus' crucifixion when Jesus was put to death on the cross by Roman soldiers. And you might ask, and certainly I did when I was younger, well, what's good about that? Why would you celebrate an execution? And to understand that, what we need to do is take a step back and see the big picture story of the Bible. You see, the Bible tells us we're not just a bundle of carbon atoms bouncing around a meaningless and empty universe. It tells us we are carefully crafted, made by God with a purpose: to love Him, to love the people around us, and to care for the natural world we're in. Problem is that none of us naturally like the idea of God as a creator and us as his creatures, because that means that God is the center of the world, not us. And actually, I don't know about you, but I don't want God as the center of the world. I want to be at the center. And so naturally, we turn away from God. We put God in the drawer marked irrelevant or out of date. And that's bad, not just for our relationship with God. It's bad for our relationship with others. It's bad for our relationship with the natural planet. Go to any bookshop around the world and look in the history section and you see we're very good at war. Go to any ocean, any beach, and you'll see we're very good at pollution. But the problem isn't just out there with other people. It's actually in here with me. I just know it personally. The people that I know I should love, I often end up hurting them. The things I don't want to do, I often end up doing. Okay, so you say, well, so what if our relationship with God and others is ruined? I mean, God can forgive us, can't he? He won't hold it against us. Well, if you've ever been really wronged by someone or you've hurt them deeply yourself, you'll know that forgiveness, it isn't easy. You can't just sweep mistakes under the carpet and pretend they haven't happened, and neither can God. He's not a tin pot dictator who's prepared to turn a blind eye to injustice. Because God, just like Martin Luther King Jr. said, God knows that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. He must deal with injustice. So here's the issue at the heart of Good Friday and what's going on when Jesus died on the cross. How can a God who will not stand for injustice forgive people like you and me who've committed our fair share of wrongs? Desmond Tutu, the South African bishop who bravely stood against the apartheid system in South Africa, he saw hundreds and thousands of South Africans arrested, tortured, killed, just because the colour of their skin. And he was also responsible, after the end of apartheid, of trying to bring South Africans together and fix broken relationships that ran very deep. So he knows a thing or two about forgiveness, and he says this: forgiveness is not cheap. It's not simple. It's costly. And it cost God the death of his son. See, on Good Friday, God found a way to deal with our wrongs and forgive us. How? Well, Jesus chose to suffer the penalty of our rebellion on the cross so that we don't need to. Rather than us pay the price, God paid the price by giving up his only Son. Elsewhere in the Bible, it's described like this. It says, Jesus was pierced for our wrongs. He was crushed for our rebellion. The punishment that brought us peace was on him. And by his wounds we're healed. That's why we call Good Friday, because Jesus died in our place, took what we deserve so that Jesus might forgive us, and God can welcome us back into a relationship with him. So what does that mean for you? Well, it means that whatever you've done, wherever you're from, however many skeletons in your closet, whatever you've thought about God in the past, Good Friday shows us that God is ready to forgive us and welcome us back. That is how much God loves me and how much he loves you. And that is why we call it Good Friday.